I think that is just so lovely. I hope you all do too. Oh, I think I'm giving away a bit too much about my adolescence here, but never mind. We're coming. Let's get back to reality and to the present day and our theme of the programme, which is significant events in November. Well, a very significant one is Diwali, and we're very pleased that we have Doc Anand in the studio, who's a seasoned radio presenter with Spice FM, and he's going to be talking with Steve about Diwali.
About Diwali, right?
Thank you. Lovely to be here. Lovely to be on the wrong side of the table.
Right. Well, what is it?
Diwali. Well, Diwali is a short form of Deepavali. Deep means lamp. The word deep means lamp. It's a Sanskrit word. And Avali means a line off. So even now, today in India, I wouldn't light candles. You take an earthen diya, means a lamp, made by a clay man who makes clay stuff. You take your mother's old sari and tear it into strips, rub it into wicks, soak it in water so it doesn't eat up all the oil because oil is expensive, and then you take such risks putting it on the terrace. There's no health and safety in India. You just go and do it, you might get killed, so what? And it's so much fun. There's 5 days of really... I mean, India is one country that celebrates any goddamn thing. Sorry, I shouldn't say goddamn on that. You celebrate. Everything you celebrate. And Deepavali is 5 days of sheer fun and crackers and food and new clothes and noise and visiting guests. So the poorest of the poor also get something out of it. And it's 5 very passionate days about the sister will have a doll house made of clay. And the brothers will have nice clothes and you play with crackers, burn your hands a little bit here and there. But unlike here, where everything is done by somebody else and in the name of health and safety, you're a passive recipient. No, we fully go into it. Of course, some get killed and some get burned. But that's life, you know. We're too risk averse in this country.
Well, I was a teacher at just down the road there. At, what's it called? The school down there. And we celebrated Diwali by having candles in the whole... We pulled the blinds down.
Yes.
And we put candles in the classroom at the beginning of the day and told the children they couldn't come in. And then we opened the door and there it was.
The whole beauty
Fire
was
everywhere with candles.
But now they also have these LED lamps.
Right.
You know, they look like candles, but come on, it's not the same as tea lamps. At least have tea lamps. Let something burn, you know. We're so scared. But anyway, so Diwali really is a festival of light.
Right, 5 days in India, but not in Britain.
Well, Britain, I mean, it's a cold country. You know. People have got appointments to go to. You meet friends by appointment. It's different in India. You just turn to each other's... I mean, like it used to be like 300-400 years ago. You know, I mean, as a teacher, you could smack a kid. You can't do that now. As a teacher, well, you could eat candy floss. You can't eat candy floss now. You could throw snowballs. You can't throw snowballs now. You could hug your students. You can't do that now. There's so many things that have happened for the better. But I think some things are too restrictive. But India still goes its own merry way. Nobody's stopping you.
So what? People put up fairy lights then?
Yes, themselves. Everyone participates. You don't wait for others to do the fireworks. I mean, firecrackers. I've never got burnt. I've been in India for 32 years. I used to be the main guy who used to light things and run away. You know, the thrill of the risk of getting burnt is quite high, you know. So we used to have these things that go up like what shall we call it? It doesn't explode. It's just a beautiful color with magnesium and iron and copper, the different colors. And our firecrackers are not like the massive ones here. So kids do that. And then there are things that go all over the place and you run away from it.
What I call it squib.
The squib, yes.
Right.
Yes. We call it chichundar, what do you call that? The mole that runs this way and that way, helter-skelter. And occasionally you get a little burn, so what? It heals, you know. So Diwali is
That's
really...
a doctor speaking, by the way.
Yeah. We should get burnt. What do the doctors do if you don't get burnt, for God's sake? No, but the other thing about Diwali is the first day is called Dhanteras, where you worship Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. By wealth is not just meant cash. It means your status in society. It means the good deeds you have done. The wealth of a complete wealth, not just zeros in a bank. Say in India they say a rich man is the man who can spend. It's not the man who accumulates lots in the stocks and shares, because that's not respected. I mean, that's what we feel. The second day is another festival. The third day is the actual Diwali where you light the lamps. The fourth day is husband and wife relationship. And the fifth day is brother and sisterly love called Bhai Dooj, whereas the brotherly sisterly love is celebrated in a very, very big way. And I mean, I might like a girl next door because she's a nice person. I might call her sister if I didn't have a sister. So all these kind of relationships are very strong in India. I wouldn't call you by your first name because you're a respectable gentleman. I wouldn't say Steve. I would say Steve G. And if someone's a woman, even more. You know, it distances, it prevents their unacceptable intimacy. So these are the good things. I'm not saying everything's perfect in India by a long chalk. But festivals is one thing India has really celebrated now. I mean, you've got Muslims there, Sikhs there, Hindus there, Christians there.
So there's always a festival.
Every day is a holiday, you know. Maybe once a year we have a work day. No, but I'll tell you an example. I went to ICICI Bank and there was this fellow distributing sweetmeats. He gave me one. I said, stop, I'll have it. And happily have it. But why are you distributing sweets? He said, just got my new car. I said, how? The bank gave me a loan. So I went out and got sweets. And he's giving every customer a sweetmeat. You know, that kind of spontaneous happiness. It, you know, like Esther Ranson's programs about everyone doing their own thing and singing. That's quite common in India, you know. We are changing. I think Britain is changing. We are much more open-hearted, and I mean, community radio is a change, isn't it?
Yes,
At one time it had to be the BBC, but now you and I can speak on radio, and people actually listen.
Good.
And it's democratizing the process.
So why light, though? What's that got to do?
Light
with...
doesn't mean just the physical light.
Ah.
It means knowledge. You know the word guru. The word gu means darkness. Ru means remover. So if you are my teacher for mathematics, you're my guru, you remove my ignorance of maths. If someone's a traffic warden, a lollipop lady or man, I can't just say lady these days, you have to be careful about everything. The lollipop person, he or she is teaching me how to cross the road, so they're my guru. If someone's teaching me the radio. So knowledge is really respected in India.
I love that idea that the knowledge is there, as it were, and all you have to do as teacher is remove the darkness.
Darkness, exactly.
And then I will see.
Well, Michelangelo, didn't he say that I don't make a statue, I remove the bits that don't belong?
Right.
It's a bit like that, you know. I mean, really, children know it all. To be truthful, children are much more emotionally sensitive than we are. Babies understand things. We just dumb them down because it's convenient. Because children are our teachers. I mean, you're a teacher yourself, so you know how important it is to enlighten and kindle the child. And I really believe that, you know. I believe I can't teach anyone. I can help them learn.
Well, that's what I think too. I've never belonged to that school of thought that says that somehow you slice off the top of the child's head and
pour in the stuff.
Pour in the knowledge and then...
No. Because the child has the knowledge.
So that is part of Diwali?
Yes. So Diwali to me is knowledge, knowledge over stupidity, light over darkness, life over death. Now to me, whether it's Death Eaters in Harry Potter, or the devil in the Bible, or Ravan for Hindus, or Shaitan for Muslims, it's the same guy.
Right.
So
right.
It's about human expansion, the expansion of your consciousness. You know, on TED Talks, I watch a lot of talks on education. And I find all that quite interesting because it is the same theme.
Right. Now, in the background has been playing some music. And we're going to put it up to full volume.
Okay,
now.
Please do.
And,
so I can hear it.
Then, yes, and then
I can tell you about it.
Tell us about it.
Okay.
Is this the second piece or the first piece? Second.
I was in India at Diwali a couple of years ago, but I missed the main festivity. But what surprised me was travelling around a little bit, all the lights on the houses.
Yes,
you know,
all rows and rows. But it's the involvement,
yeah.
You know. You could just buy Christmas lights and switch it on each year. I mean, akin to Christmas tree, a live Christmas tree with the pines on the floor and then you have to clean it up. It's different from the same plastic that comes out of it.
Yeah,
exactly the same thing.
exactly.
It's much more organic and involved. And the family gets involved, you know.
Who is this?
This is a chanting of the ancient Vedic rhythms. in that there's only 4 notes. Da 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 da. There were only 4 notes. This is about 4,000 years old. There weren't the 7 notes or the octave that as we have it in all cultures now. Da 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 da. That's all they did. So the chanting was very monotonous, but that relaxed you.
Oh yes, it's hypnotic.
Yes,
Trance,
it is. It gets into a trance phase. And in India, Diwali is celebrated to different gods and goddesses in different parts. India is such a big country that the Bengalis in East have the lady with the tongue sticking out, Kali.
Yes.
Whereas we have Durga, yes. And in Maharashtra they have Ganesh, the elephant. It's such a big country. I mean, there's so many Hinduisms. There isn't one.
But Diwali is celebrated by Hindus, Sikhs and...
All the indigenous religions.
Yeah.
The Sikhs celebrate it as the day that one of the gurus was released from jail, from Shah Jahan. It's like different, it's the same religion, different. It's like a turban and becomes, I can't say it live on that. It becomes, it's a simplified form of it. Because Hinduism over time became so complicated and corrupt. You know, the whole caste system is not Hindu really. The Brahmins imposed it on the others.
I wonder why they did it then. You know,
Well, it gives them power.
Yeah.
Why do the Etonians rule the country? It gives them power. They are the Brahmins of this country. Same thing.
Priests.
Yes. It's power.
So, have you and Eddie cooked up a plan as how to deal?
No.
We've been listening to that music. Which
What is
seems
this?
rather strange
Yes.
to me. So could you
It is
explain?
very monotonous, not quite one tone. There's only 3-4 notes, like in the Gita times about 4,000 years ago when the Vedas were written. They had only 3 or 4 notes. Na 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 na, and so on. It went on. And as we were chatting in the interlude, if music is not so evocative and so provocative and so rhythmic, you get into a trance state. You don't fall asleep. Because sleep is not trance, you lost your mind completely. But if you are into that chant, whether it's heavy metal or whether it's Western classical, if your mind is so empty of thought because the music supervenes, it's a bit like that Mozart effect that teachers know so much more about. That if you have music of a certain quality, your mind becomes blank. So the purpose is that.
Is it the same idea as medieval monks?
Yes.
Chanting.
Absolutely,
psalms?
absolutely. Absolutely. Whether it's medieval monks or the Muslims have the whirling dervishes. You know, Allahu Akbar, you know, it's also very monotonous. They can't turn it into a very attractive, evocative, provocative tune because then your body takes over. But if it's just chanting, Our Father, who art in heaven, that's also quite monotonous. But if you say Michael Jackson, I love the way you do moonwalk, you go into the same trance. So the music is very powerful, then the words matter, then your own belief matters. But the music is the basis of it, the notes. And I think the people who most use it are the Sikh people. Every Sikh person learns the tabla and the harmonium and sings, and they use the Indian ragas. So music in India is extreme, and Indian classical music is the oldest surviving art form today. It has survived from eons and eons and eons despite all the conquests of India. It hasn't got lost because it's an oral tradition. You can burn the libraries, you can burn the books, you can ban this, but people still sing in their heads.
Right, yes.
And I'm sure the same process must have happened in Britain.
So if I went to the Hindu temple,
Yes.
Diwali was on.
This Diwali, yes.
Would I hear this music?
Yes, you would hear the priest chanting.
So not the priest, not the rest of the people.
The rest of them, they would have bhajans, which are more, like gospel singing kind of lighter thing. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, that kind of thing. And so the common man would sing the bhajans, which are more light-hearted and more meaningful. Whereas the priest would chant the original Sanskrit, a bit like Latin and English. I mean, the priest here would go, Anno Domini, whatever he says, Vidi Vici Vici, or whatever he says. But I couldn't go to a Christian place and I could only understand English. So similarly, the people would be singing in Hindi or Punjabi or Gujarati or Bengali, but the priest can do Sanskrit. Asatoma, Sadgamaya, Tamasoma, Satgamaya, Asatoma, and so on and so forth in Sanskrit.
So what would I see if I attended the Diwali service?
You'd see a lot of people very colourfully dressed because you should buy new clothes for Diwali.
Oh, right.
It's like, in Diwali, not here, but in India, the whole house is MOT'd. The whole house gets a whitewash. It's like spring clean, well, except it's in autumn. So it's an autumn spring clean, shall we say. Then everyone buys new clothes. Even the poorest of the poor do their best to buy at least a top or something. It's a mindset change before winter sets in. And mind, the winter in India is not as difficult as here. It's a milder winter. But it's also a change of season, you know. So in India, there's so much festival, nobody gets bored. The rituality helps prevent stress because there's always something happening. Like happened
So
here.
what about food?
Food, we'll
I
have.
always associate the Hindu temple with food.
Of course you
when
should.
I go there,
Well,
I always...
the best way to Steve's heart is
fed.
through the stomach. You know. Yeah, but you'd get a lot of sweetmeats, special foods, because Hindus were originally vegetarian. So there'd be a lot of sweet and savory and so on, lots of eating, lots of getting fat, getting upset stomachs. If you don't go to the hospital, what kind of hospitality is this? You know. So you'd expect a lot of food and a lot of happiness. The women would do extra makeup, they'd put all the ear tops and it's just to be happy. And the children will make a lot of noise, and if there's fireworks in the back of here, because if they have any festival this year, you can't hold it inside the temple, it has to be outdoors. And it's always quite good fun. So yeah, that's how it is. We who are from the Indian subcontinent or Pakistanis, we try to have some celebration, and we should, we shouldn't forget our roots. But you can't really have the full Diwali here, otherwise the fire engines will be at you.
Right.
The fire alarms will go off, health and safety will go off, data protection will go off and all that stuff.
Well, it's been absolutely fascinating talking with you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Doc,
you so
for
much.
coming in.
Yes.
And we've learned a lot about Diwali.
Well, we'll have you over the other side to tell us a lot more about NE1FM,
Right, okay.
because I didn't even know it was here, which is such a shame.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we'd love you all to come and have one show just on NE.
We'd love to.
FM.
We'd love to.
All of you, young and
Thank
old,
you.
and it'll be lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
And on that note, you are listening to NE1FM, which is coming live from Westgate Community College. And the programme you're listening
also get something out of it, and it's 5 very passionate days about the sister will have a doll house made of clay, and the brothers will have nice clothes, and you play with crackers, burn your hands a little bit here and there. But unlike here, where everything is done by somebody else and in the name of health and safety, you're a passive recipient. No, we fully go into it. Of course some get killed and some get burned, but that's life, We're too risk averse in this country.
Well, I was a teacher at just down the road there. At, what's it called? The school down there.
Oh, I think that is just so lovely. I hope you all do too. Oh, I think I'm giving away a bit too much about my adolescence here, but never mind. We're coming. Let's get back to reality and to the present day, and our theme of the programme, which is significant events in November. Well, a very significant one is Diwali, and we're very pleased that we have Doc Anand in the studio, who's a seasoned radio presenter with Spice FM, and he's going to be talking with Steve.
Take your mother's old sari and tear it into strips, rub it into wicks, soak it in water so it doesn't eat up all the oil, because oil is expensive, and then you take such risks putting it on the terrace. There's no health and safety in India. You just go and do it, you might get killed, so what? And it's so much fun. There's 5 days of really... India is one country that celebrates any goddamn thing. Sorry, I shouldn't say goddamn on that. You celebrate. Everything you celebrate. And Diwali is 5 days of sheer fun and crackers and food and new clothes and noise and visiting guests. So the poorest of the poor...
About Diwali.
About Diwali, right.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. Lovely to be on the wrong side of the table.
Right. Well, what is it?
Diwali. Well, Diwali is a short form of Deepavali. Deep means lamp. The word deep means lamp. It's a Sanskrit word. And Avali means a line off. So even now, today in India, I wouldn't light candles. You take an earthen diya, means a lamp, made by a clay man who makes clay stuff. You take...
And we celebrated Diwali by having candles in the whole... We pulled the blinds down.
Yes.
And we put candles in
Beautiful.
the classroom at the beginning of the day.
Yes.
And told the children they couldn't come in. And then we opened the door, and there it was.
The whole beauty
Fire
was
everywhere with candles.
But now they also have these LED lamps.
Right.
You know, they look like candles, but come on, it's not the same as tea lamps. At least have tea lamps. Let something burn, you know. We're so scared. But anyway, so Diwali really is a festival of light.
Right. 5 days in India, but not in Britain.
Well, Britain, we can't.